Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, get some deep sleep with Kryo, fidget in peace, and a bead box of mini games. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out and find crowdfunding projects and let you know if you should backtrack or sack them. I'm Ktdata, one half of the show. That doesn't matter. This show is super exciting because it is the return of the great one. The one, the only, Drew Tyler, so kind, so pure, and I was a miss without you here. It was cool that Jane and Alex could fill in, but cool. There was a hole in my heart not seeing you for these recordings.
It has. It's probably been over a month because I was out for 2 full shows. I was just seeking myself. I went and climbed a mountain, met with some Tibetan monks. I was just trying to find my center. I didn't find it. I just figured I'd come back.
You figured, oh well, if you can't find your center, at least I can have my center when you're here, because I feel like the world is whole again when you're here.
Glad I could help. Glad I could help with that.
That is what your one true calling, and that, and apparently trying to help the next PewDiePie develop in your program.
Yep.
Somehow.
I was just thinking, I am. Everybody needs a Samwise Gamgee. I get to be Sam for a lot of different people. That's what I am. I'm the backup guy. I'm always going to be there to give you a hug and push you forward and cry when you misunderstand my intentions. Yeah.
So have any of the students kind of stuck out yet? I know it's early in the semester.
Still early. I've got this great team of guys that came out from Iowa and found our program, and they've got some really good kind of filmic senses. So I'm excited to see what they create. And I've got 2 senior producers, are the ones that kind of make their own show for every other week. And I've got a guy that just started a show called Beyond Monopoly, and he's highlighting board games, his favorite kind of board games that are out of the norm, and showing not only how to play them, but he's putting in this fantastic B-roll and explanations and cutscenes of what the game is like. You got to check it out. It's very good.
Yeah, I'm excited because, funny enough, we're kind of related to crowdfunding. I was reading an article that kind of broke down the different categories and tried to see how the creative communities were centered based on crowdfunding projects. Utah is the second most popular city or state for board game projects.
Board gaming. How interesting is that?
That's really cool. I mean, I love playing board games, so it's always exciting to see that, because oddly enough, people come up and ask me, "Hey, why don't you do a board gaming show?" And then I look them straight in the eye and go, where in the right mind do you think I actually have time to make another show?
I don't have enough time. So are you doing 3 right now?
Yes.
That's where'd you find the time?
Which I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm questioning my sanity at some points, but I'm I love doing it.
It is fun. It is fun. I'm hoping that I can get my students to generate some of that same content and go do lots of live things in our new studio. Play these board games live on Twitch and just use that as their B-roll.
I know you should have one of them start a D&D group. Why not?
Yeah, I could, and I just play it live all the time. I could totally do that. What I need to do? I need to branch out and find the gamers that are on campus, not just the digital media gamers.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, so if you guys haven't watched the show first, of course, this is part of the tradition after 102 episodes. This is tradition that I always have to catch up with Drew and tell the world how awesome he is, because he is far too humble to say that. He's far too humble to say that he's that awesome, but he's cool. So before we jump into our projects tonight, we actually have a couple news stories, and this one is kind of great because I found out about this crowdfunding platform because they just barely got bought out, which is always a good thing, right?
Right, that's good.
And in my research, I found out they are actually based in Salt Lake City, Utah. So it's a local platform. And Drew, you may have a little bit of a experience with this, because of course you're at school, you have a lot of student athletes, and especially the digital media department, they tend to film a lot of these student athletes, right? Yeah. And one thing you discover, athlete or not, in college, you got no money.
True. They spend so much money on the athletes, flying them places, getting them to do their things, and hosting things, but athletes themselves, and some of the other clubs, if you're not basketball or football, the other clubs have to do a whole lot of chasing money. Yeah, especially hockey. We have an awesome hockey team up here, and they chase their own money.
Yeah, what's crazy about it is my buddy, Alex, who actually was filling in for you. He's a big hockey fan, and he's like, yeah, the college scene is kind of great because what happens is, sure, you have your standouts that are going to get drafted to the NHL, of course, but most of them are just like psychology majors and stuff that are just there to play hockey. And obviously that's not pulling in like the big bucks like football or basketball is.
Not at all.
So it's more of a club than an actual team, which is obviously interesting. So this platform may actually help them. It is called RallyMe, and you can find it at rallyme.com. And what it is a crowdfunding platform that is specifically dedicated to sports teams or individual athletes raising money. And like I said earlier, the reason I found it is the Sports Engine, which is I think an affiliate of NBC Sports, just bought them out. So they're actually going to have a lot more resources to infuse into this platform and kind of help. And I was looking around. They actually have some really cool associations. Like they have associations with USA Football, a bunch of cycling stuff. I don't know a lot about cycling. I should have asked Alex about this. He knows everything about cycling. He's a professional bike mechanic. Rowing clubs, soccer clubs,
Curling.
weightlifting.
Don't forget curling.
Oh yeah, and lacrosse. I never knew about lacrosse until somebody handed me a stick. I'm like, what's this for? Lacrosse. But what you can do is, as an individual or as a team, kind of get together and do a crowdfunding platform. But on this platform, it's straight just sports related. Like this is to get Zach to the USA Cycling Pan Am, I guess, and it kind of gives you the story. Most pages have your normal video. Of course, it shows you how much they're raised. This guy has doubled how much he's raised, and depending on where different projects, you actually do get some swag for your contributions, like postcards or signed race numbers, a lodge kit item. This is a cool one. You can get a jersey or a bib.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is totally cool. I hope they wash them before they hand them to you.
I want it real and raw.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you think this is good where we're getting these more specialized things like this one specifically for sports?
I think this is fantastic. If you think about like even simple things like GoFundMe, there's a weird sense of GoFundMe that is like help we're in need, and rally your friends to like pay for an expensive surgery or unexpected like tragedy. And so when I see somebody, and I had a friend show up and asked me to consult him on a project where he was trying to buy hockey gear for his kid who's going through school. And I thought, man, if you put that up on GoFundMe, it has this sense of like, help, I really need to pay for my kid's lifestyle, right? Which is kind of like this, but a place like this, RallyMe, has it already built in that like, hey, sports are expensive, and you can market it, really share and push out either individually or as a team, and really drive a singular place to raise funds, to do fundraising and that sort of stuff. So I love this. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and I love the idea that it was just built by somebody here in Salt Lake. So that's cool. So if you guys check that out, that's rallyme.com. And I'm excited because they're only going to grow now because they have the power of NBC behind them. Right. They're kind of a big thing, right? In the sports world. Okay, so for our next news item, this is kind of interesting. Of course, do you remember back in maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, right? You saw a bunch of big box electronic stores all around, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I remember the Circuit Cities and what was that, Ultimate Electronics.
And your Future Shops and all those,
yes.
Right? Those were great. One of the last stalwarts of that generation is Best Buy. And
hold on.
We've kind of seen this transition over the years that they are kind of less, you walk in and you see the shelves of stuff that you can get, more towards of a showroom type thing, because they have like Apple stores inside them. They have their Google has their own section. They have a whole phone sections that mostly like Verizon employees and stuff. Yep. So how about this?
It's almost like the RC Willie of showrooms, right? You have
I don't know if most of our listeners know what an RC Willie is. That's a Utah
thing.
So
you walk in and it's like little living rooms everywhere. Like you have to walk through acres of just living rooms.
Yeah,
and that's what our Best Buy is becoming.
Yeah, it's just becoming a giant showroom for things. So what they're doing is they're calling it the Ignite, and that is their initiative where they're actually bringing crowdfunded projects into the store where people can come in and try these successfully crowdfunded projects. So it's kind of like the Amazon store that we've mentioned before, where they just have a storefront of crowdfunded items. They're going to actually do that and allow people to kind of order them online. And on BestBuy.com, they're making their own section also. It seems kind of interesting.
I'm trying to think of the things that would be in there. So we're talking about like things that already got the buzz from the like top of the Kickstarter. Like so.
Yeah. So some of the stuff that they're going to put, and actually some of these names are really familiar because we've talked to them before. Like the Tanagram Smart Rope, which is a smart jump rope. The Flick Smart Button. We talked to those guys at CES one year. The Robo 3D printer, your Zuli Smart Plug, and the No Key Bluetooth padlock. No, we covered those. We covered that as a project. So you'll actually be able to try some of those. And they also have other things that you'll be able to find at bestbuy.com. Do you think this is going to be a good thing for some of these projects, or is it just Best Buy really trying to say, "Hey, we're still around. Come into our stores, please"?
That's where I'm at. I feel like it's a good move on their part because it takes this gap from like, hey, I'm an early adopter and I found this on Kickstarter and I'm gonna be a backer. Oh, I got my thing. And they're kind of bridging that gap because now you'll be walking through and maybe you heard from a friend or saw it in your stream as a sponsored post, and you'll walk into Best Buy where it's like there. Oh, I wanted to try this. I wanted to see this. So I think this is a little bit more Best Buy kind of trying to stay relevant because they really are like the only place that you can get a lot of the tech that they sell. But yes, I believe that they are jumping on this in a marketing fashion more than like let's support crowdfunding fashion. Mm-hmm. This is after the fact. This is after they funded that they actually. And you've
actually had a product. But hey, if you have a crowdfunding project that's successful already and you want to see it in one of these Best Buys, you can actually go to their website. I think it's bestbuy.com/ignite, and you submit and apply to see if they'll feature your stuff. So that may be good for you there, because that gives you a little bit of legitimacy because you're like, hey, we're on bestbuy.com.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Agreed.
All right, so before we jump into our big projects, we have a couple kick shouts tonight. One of them was actually sent in by Alex, and he showed us this. It's called the Flexible. It is bendable, bouncy, flexible building bricks. So they're compatible with your brick building system, but they have like these tendons so you can bend and fold them so that they're like malleable and bouncy.
And yet they fit with all the same other building bricks.
Yes, they are fully building brick compatible, or however the legalese way to say that is.
I back the remember my brick book? I backed the brick wall. The one that is the 10x10 squares that you can paste on the wall to add bricks to. So this flex brick is very cool.
Yeah, so now like they made a trampoline out of Legos. How cool was that?
It doesn't get much cooler than that.
Yep, so make sure you guys check them out. Flexo, like Bender's evil nemesis in Futurama. FLEXO on Kickstarter. And the other one, this one I just saw, so cool because I love science. They are way beyond their goal. But back in the day when space exploration was super cool, they sent out these two probes called the Voyager 1 and 2. On them, they had this golden vinyl disc on there to help communicate the human population and Earth to the rest of the world. 40 years later, it is their anniversary. And what they are doing now, Ozma Records, not affiliated with NASA, is actually going to make a vinyl box set of the Voyager Golden Records. So you're going to have all the sounds and music and everything that they put on those Golden Records that you can play at home. Super cool. Make sure you guys go check them out on Kickstarter. It's Voyager Golden Record, the 40th anniversary edition. I'm super excited for it.
Very cool. I'll go look at that as soon as I'm done backing the Flexo.
It's totally full gold plates. All right, so let's jump into. So if you guys have any kick shouts you want us to mention, of course, shoot us an email, kickcast@ktdata.net, or leave it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/kickcast, or just tweet Drew and I at night20, at kickcast, at ktdata. One of the three will get to us. All right, so now into our big projects tonight. This is probably something that you haven't had problems with this because you were looking for your center of gravity, so you weren't too stressed, right? Do you have problems falling asleep and staying asleep?
Sometimes, yes.
So our first project tonight is called the Kryo Sleep Performance System.
It sounds like they freeze you.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of actually like that. So what they discovered is that the optimal temperature for you to be sleeping is 60 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. I know we use our space temperatures. I think it's 15.5
Still sounds very cold.
Celsius. Yeah, it's really cold. But what they found out is actually the colder you are, the higher quality of REM sleep you're gonna get, and the more you'll fall asleep actually faster.
Just because like everything slows down, because it's like I'm dying, I'm freezing, and I'm shivering to sleep.
It sort of makes sense because it slows down your heart rate, and I guess the cold, dilates your blood vessels so you can have more blood flow. Kind of makes sense, just like how athletes take ice baths after training and everything to further recovery. This is kind of the same idea. So what this is a little mattress topper that you can put on top of your mattress, and then it has a little cooling unit you slip under your bed. And what it will do is via Wi-Fi, it will connect to your phone. You can control the temperature you want it at. Also, what it does, it is pairs with your Fitbit or your Up and a whole bunch of other different smartwatches to detect your sleep patterns, and it can actually start learning your sleep patterns and adjusting the temperature so you have more restful sleep. And you can put an alarm on it too, where it will warm you up so you wake up a little bit more naturally than you would just from an alarm clock going off.
It's a strange idea.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's water cooled, so I think you fill out with water. That's actually one of my detractors, is because I don't know the installation procedure. I'm assuming you lay it on there, but do you fill it up with water, or it has some like preformed water in there, or that I'm not quite sure how you do. And I'm not sure if you like plug it in or if it's battery charged or something. It doesn't have a lot of information on that because it's still in its prototype stage. But it does say, once you use this, you actually have, gives you a better chance of falling asleep. And if you're a big exerciser, it actually makes your body recover faster due to the cold temperatures. The other interesting part, and I didn't fact check this, but according to the page, this guy's uncle was the guy who invented the waterbed.
Oh, really? Okay, now that's worth backing right there. So if you've got that, oh wow.
I mean, because if you go through the history of the waterbed, one of the reasons why the waterbed became a thing was because when people were laying on it, they kind of enjoyed feeling cooler, and they felt like they had better rest. So there may be some correlation between the temperature of the waterbed, which is kind of taking out the temperature, and having a colder temperature to sleep. I don't know. Do you see like this is something that you'd get?
Wow, I'm trying to like wrap my head around it, and I think the concept is still kind of weird to me. Like, I don't want to be cold. I thought like get me all wrapped up nice and warm and cozy. That's when I'll fall asleep. But this is seeming like chill out.
We're doing it wrong. Maybe tonight I'm gonna sleep without the blankets on and see if that helps.
Maybe that's what it is. I'll tell you, I was looking at the thumbnails for the pictures at the very top, and they have one where they have just a picture of the pillow and the blue topper. And in this thumbnail, I thought it was somebody's blue lips. So I was like, that's why too cold? If that person has blue lips, like I thought it was like a close-up shot of blue lips. This is really strange. This is a track for me. I will watch where it does, but it looks like they're halfway to the goal, flexible goal. How many days have they been running? About a month left still on this?
Yeah. And they're looking for $50,000, so they got 25 of that with 182 people. It's a track for me too, because I just wish there were a little bit more details about the actual device. Like, do you got to plug it in? How do you fill the water into the system? Maybe you pour it into the little dually that you put under the bed and it just circulates that. There's a little vagarity on how to implement this.
Oh my gosh, did you just say vagarity? I love that word now.
Vagarity. I don't even know if that's a real word.
I don't think it is, but I'm going to use it someday. Vagarity. There's a lot of vagarity, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at like what looks like they took a blue sheet and cut little triangle holes in it. Where's the water go in that? Like, is that it, or is it somewhere else? I'm with you. If there's some vagarity here.
Yeah, and if I was an English major, that would actually become a legitimate word, because according to one of my English teacher that like literally Mr. Feeneyed my whole junior high to high school education, if you have a master's degree, you get to make up words. A master's degree in English, you get to make up words. It's just
I think you can. You know what? It's in Urban Dictionary. Vagarity is in Urban Dictionary. As vagueness, as far as planning went, they were guilty of the most horrendous vagarity.
Yeah.
It is the noun. It is the noun of vague. Nice work, man.
Yeah, and so what this one smart thing I think they did, they made it the size of a single bed. So say you and your wife are in bed and you want different temperatures, you could get two of them and then control the temperature separately. So instead of one getting frozen, the other one being comfortable,
Yeah, yeah.
that could work. So yeah, this is a track. It seems like a good idea, but I just wish there were a little bit more ideas or more information on it.
Right. I'm with you on the same thing. That's my track. I just wish there was a little bit more info. I'm not going to spring that much money to Sleep Cold. If I want to sleep cold, I'm just going to kick off a couple of covers. But I will watch and see what they do and see if this like catches on. Maybe this will be like the next waterbed craze.
Yeah, and
Uncle Todd could be right.
yeah. So and that was the other thing. I went down this rat hole researching waterbeds for some reason, probably because I wanted to see this a little
Find
bit.
out. Yeah.
But apparently, the reason why waterbeds didn't really pick up is because you have to get a professional to come in and install it and stuff. So when you move, you just left the waterbed there.
Yes, it's true. I once picked up an old bladder from a family, like an extended family. They gave my mom and dad a bladder, and I put it into. It was a queen size bladder, and I put it into like a single size, a standard twin. And I didn't have enough water to fill it up to be a waterbed, and so I really ended up laying on the wood of my twin with water down the sides. Like it was for like years. For like years, I slept on a non-water bed. It was hilarious.
And then you got married, and your wife made you get a real bed.
A real bed. Like I put a couple grand into a real bed. Yes.
All right, so on to our next project. This is an interesting one, because are you like me, Drew, where you can't sit still? You got to be playing with something.
Yes.
Like
yes,
people don't notice. I actually do this on the show a lot if you watch the video, and even more so when I wasn't on the standing desk. When I was actually on the exercise ball, I'd be bouncing constantly.
Yep. Yep.
So what's our next project, Drew?
So our next project that I've chosen for today is one that actually is kind of making some waves. They've been running for just about 2, maybe 3 weeks. It's called the Fidget Cube. It is that thing that you can play with in your pocket, on your desk, in your hand, while you're thinking, doing, or even in a meeting. It's essentially a 6-sided dice, almost dice size, a little larger than a dice, but it's a cube that has these 6 different sides that you can just fidget with. Like things you can do. There's a clicker button. There's a dial switch. There's a clicker ball or a roller ball. What else? They've got a glide kind of joystick top, a circling top, a worry stone side. One side is just meant to like put your thumb in and just rub back and forth like a worry stone. They picked 6 things. Oh, and the clickers. They have like it looks like the number 5 on a dice, right? 4 in the corners, 1 in the center. And there are 3 of those buttons that click and actually make noises. And 2 of them are silenced so that you can still like get your click on without bothering people. But the whole premise behind this fidget cube is that we fidget. And this is the thing that we can fidget with. So you don't have to have a pen or pencil or a cable or like whatever it is that you play around with all day long. You put this thing in your pocket and it's with you everywhere you go. And it's just something that keeps fingers going, whatever it is. I'm excited about this idea because it just seems so simple and like something you could really just own, I guess. What do you think about this?
I love this because when I don't even remember where I learned this. This was probably from a public speaking class or something. The one that I took in my entire college career. And here I am doing podcasts. What? Is kind of yeah. I remember the teacher was like, okay, when you're actually up there, always make sure you have a pen or something in your hand when you're doing your presentations, so that way you don't start playing with your hands or grabbing the side and just tapping on the podium when you're doing that. So I've made it a habit to always have something in my hand, whether it be your slide clicker for the presenter, a laser pointer, something always in my hands, which is really bad when I do this show because I don't have something, so I end up playing with something on my desk.
Right.
And most of the time I hope that like please don't hear it. And when even at the desk at work, I have a flash drive that has one of those sliding things, so I'm like I catch myself sliding the flash drive back and forth all the time, which is probably not the greatest thing for its longevity. So this is like perfect for me. I think I need to order like 6 of these so I can have them everywhere.
I know, and I think that's what's cool about them. They're perfectly small size and shape. What's brilliant about this, if you haven't seen the project yet, is that somehow they did everything right. They have got every company that's done an ad on them, and I don't know if they, how they like. I really want to know like interviews with the guys that launched this. Did they send out press release to all of these people at Mashable and Uncrate and CNET and GeekDad? Like, did they blanket this thing and then just get ready to launch?
So I actually read a little bit about this.
Oh, curious. I'm
About
very,
these
very
guys.
curious. They've got coverage, and we should
Yep.
mention that they've hit 5.1 million already
Yes.
for selling a cube that's like the size of a dice.
Yeah,
So
they
tell me
wanted
more.
15,000.
Yes. Wow. Can you believe this?
So what happened was actually most of their traffic actually came from Facebook. And
Because in sponsored ads?
not in sponsored ads. That's the funny thing. It goes back to one of the basic things that we kind of remind people, creators, to do all the time is make a good Kickstarter video. You make a good video. What happened was their video was really good. They liked it. One of those large websites that repost videos, they actually uploaded their video, and within that week, all the big sites had picked it up and posted it onto their Facebook pages, and that's where their traffic started picking up. Was once that video got posted on one of them, people just started showing up and backing the project, and that's when they saw their kind of big lift. So they made a really good Kickstarter video. It's kind of they kind of did it like the prescription, the your drug videos.
Yes, like you need this and this will solve your problems, and if you have swelling for more than 4 hours, go see your doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the article is mentioning is like, most of our traffic came from Facebook, and it wasn't from sponsored or anything. It was our video went viral, and that's how people found out about the Fidget Cube.
It is, you're right. It's a very solid video that says, here's the problem. And it spoke to everybody. Like, here's the problem. We all have this problem. Here's a fix. Here's an idea. And it just made you go, I would so use that. So then people back. That's exactly what I did. I actually saw Dr. Robin Hazlett had backed it, and I got a little alert. Hey, your friend did this. I went and looked at that from there, watched the video, and backed it that same day. I was like, yep. Even Peach jumped in. We've got a 2-pack.
Oh,
because I showed her. I was like, would you? Because I don't see her as a fidgeter, but as soon as I showed her to her, she's like, I'd use that. I would totally use that.
So like, I'm looking at this because you actually because I was gonna back this when I first found it.
Yeah.
The funny thing is I actually found it before it went viral because I'm prepping for the show, right? And I was like, it's okay. And then like the day later, it just blew up. I'm like,
bam. And they got a little some stretch goals to change the color and Kickstarter colors and stickers and
I'm really
a carrying case is coming if you can hit another 300,000 in the next 3 weeks.
Oh, they'll do it. I'm tempted to back the 5-pack.
And just leave one in every office drawer.
So I'll leave one here. I'll leave one at work. I'll leave one in my car. I'll put one in one of my bags just in case.
Good, in case you get to a meeting and you don't have one. That's good.
Yeah, because I will do the pen thing and it's bad. Or I'll do the foot shaking thing. Well, one of my friends in college,
I'm a foot shaker.
Like I would get these death looks in the middle of our class when she's sitting next to me, and it's because I was, shaking my foot and not realizing it.
Like the knee bouncer.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, and like everybody else would look around and like, what'd he do to piss her off? But like, right when I saw him, I'm like, oh, sorry.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, this one's a back for me too. The 5-pack's gonna be mine because it has all these cool colors too. I didn't even see this the first time around. Was all the different colors that they're gonna have. So they have their dice, their graphite, their midnight, their aqua. So I can get a whole bunch of these. I'm definitely getting one of the Kickstarter editions. And then they're gonna have a fan voted one, so that's gonna be exciting. I don't know what the retro is, but whatever.
It's gonna. I have no doubt that they're gonna hit that stretch goal and it just sounds. They'll probably come up with other things and sell on their website like accessories to your fidget. Like the Mondo fidget. I could just see one this big and be like, bam, bam, bam. That would be fun,
dude. I'd have that on the show, just hanging back next to the 8-bit lamp.
Great, yeah, that'd be a great piece.
Yeah. So this one's definitely a back for me. I just realized what the retro is. It's actually NES colors. So the pen click buttons, they're red.
Nice, so nice.
All right. So for our last project of the night, this is the one you guys voted for, and this one won by a landslide. So we were kind of talking about your students, right? He
Yes,
showcasing his favorite board games and stuff. And I know that you occasionally play board games when you go to your sister's.
yes, yep, totally.
And I don't know if you have this problem or not because I don't know how many board games you own, but they tend to start taking up space, right? Just
Yes, I don't have
everywhere.
that many because we don't play as much,
Yeah,
but
I have a
they take up
fair
space.
I have a fair amount to say the least. If any of you guys know my collecting habits, yeah.
Mhm.
So they do take up a lot of space, and the problem is I like to go, especially over the holidays. My family goes visits my cousins, which are down the street, but far away enough where I can't just like come back home if I need something, right?
Right.
So we like to play board games, and usually I'm the one bringing the board games. The the big problem with it is I'm like, okay, which board game do I take to go play with them, right? Our next project is called the Bead Game Box, and it actually may solve the problem that I have. So it's actually a all-in-one board game set. It comes with these modular boards that you can actually size to different settings, and then it comes with beads and dice, and then it comes with these overlays you can put on the board. So if you say you want to make a checkers board, you can actually put on a checkers mat to it. So on top of that, it also comes with an iPhone app, which is actually or not an iPhone app, a web app, so you can load it on your own phone and everything. That will actually show you how to use the different modular pieces to set up the game that you want, even if you don't have the overlay. And it will show you the rules. And if say somebody made a one-player variation or a three-player variation for a normally two-player game or something like that,
Right.
they actually would put that together. And in total, they say if you get the XL edition, there's 108 traditional games from cultures around the world that you can actually play with this set alone.
Interesting idea.
So I like the idea of just you take this box of beads and you take these boards, and these boards look beautiful. They're like this clear board with a grid on it, and you can just place the actual tempered glass beads on top of them. It's like such a simple idea, and the biggest you can get is a 19 by 19 size, which sounds big, but I actually know
Right.
what game they actually use that for. Because I have one of the traditional boards in my house. Again,
Poconos. No,
I
what is
it's actually an old Japanese game called Go, a Chinese game called Go. So it's Gobon in Japan, Go in China, but it's older than chess, and it's an area controlling game, and it needs that 19 by 19 grid to do it, and you can use the
huh?
beads as your pieces. Um,
Interesting.
which I love the modularity of it because it shows you kind of the different setups that you can actually do. So the XLs, this is your 19 by 19, which is in the middle. You can have your
Huge.
single, double, triple, and different kind of things, and it's pretty creative on the kind of games. I didn't even think of this. You can actually play Battleship with this because you have so many different beads. You can just do different combinations of size ships.
Oh yeah, and
And
then you set them up, and then they're modular. Like you just say, I have this many ships, I have that many ships,
yeah,
and then they call it.
and then they also have
Well,
these beautiful like overlays that come with the case too. So they actually have this cool carrying case where all the inserts and the beads and stuff all fit in, and you have your phone wherever you go, right? Um,
yes.
and there's all these different games. Like some of these games I don't even know how to play, and I kind of want to learn how to play, which is great because you can read on the phone how to play and have it right next to you without having to go buy out another set of stuff.
This is
Um,
amazing. So my parents many years ago, before I had kids, probably about 10 years ago, gave me a giant board game set that was probably about a foot by a foot cubed. I mean, it's huge, made out of wood. And in this thing, the bottom would hold a couple of beads and different pieces, and then there were slide-in drawers, big thick wooden ones, and it was pretty. But it's been a beast to carry around. I like this and I think it was only like 7 games on that one, maybe.
yeah.
So this is
Yeah,
huge.
and there's like these cool games that I'm like, I want to learn how to play this. They have one like Nine Men's Morris from the Roman Empire. I'm like, what is that? But that sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
Snakes and Ladders, the classic board game. That's actually a game from India that you can actually play with this. Of course, there's Ludo, which is the original Sorry that you can play with this. Tab, Tonkin from China. Like there's so many of these, and I'm like, I wanna learn how to play all these board games. Like, would you get one of these?
I think I would. Like, what's their price? So they're just about ready to hit their goal, right? Because they're about $1,000 off. What is the price to
so
back?
it depends on what kind of games you want included. They have different versions of it. So the level 1 has I think it was like 30 games if I remember correctly. That one is in space points. About $38 United States, which seems like a lot, but if you think about it, an average board game in the US is about $30 to $50.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's for one game. This is multiple games. If you want the level 2, it's 36 games on the plain board, which is the base set. On the level 2 is you get the base set and one expansion. And I think you get to pick one of the expansions. You can get the greatest hit or the mind games. And so that's 36 plus whatever the expansions. The level 3, you can get 2 expansions, which is $71. And the XL version, which is the version I'd get because you get everything, is $99, which is honestly, there are some board games that are $99.
Right. Still a stealing deal. Like there's just about everything you want there. That's amazing. Yeah, totally a back for me on this one. I think it's a fantastic idea to make it so accessible and to make it kind of compact and modular like this. This is definitely a back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a back, and the funny thing is, probably gonna duplicate a whole bunch of games I have, but I don't care. I want it, and I just love how compact it is too. So, because I mean, I bet you could probably even play chess with it. I don't know how many different colored beads you have, but it might be possible.
That's all you need, right? You only need a set of colors for each piece, and you could just say, okay, my red's my king, my blue's my. Yeah, I think you totally could.
Yeah, and and if they don't, it's probably good anyways because I suck at chess. All right, so now it's time for our sack of the week.
So excited for this.
This is a great one. So, are you still playing Pokemon Go?
I do on occasion. I don't hunt as much, but yes, I'll pull it up and catch a few things here and there.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Amazon to get back the Go Plus daily thing. Have you heard about that?
Go Plus for Amazon?
So it's a Bluetooth device that you pair with your phone, and it keeps track of the distance you traveled without having the app open or your phone on, so it saves on battery life. And if you get close to a Pokestop, it will blink a specific color, and you can hit it, and it'll automatically spin it for you. And if you go across a Pokemon, you can actually hit it, and it will throw a Pokeball and let you know if you caught it or not.
That's kind of cool. Without having that app open.
Yeah, without pulling out the phone. It's sold out everywhere. I'm waiting for it to come back in stock so I can get one for myself.
That's pretty cool.
But this is not about the Pokemon Go Plus. It is about Pokemon, and they're calling it Pokemon the movie.
What?
And this is great because it's a live action movie. These guys in France want to create a 30-minute Pokemon live action short film and more. I don't know what about the and more. But he's talking about how childhood was a simpler time, where you spent your days daydreaming at school. This guy's not great at punctuation either. About what it like to be a Pokemon master, and then you whip out your Game Boy Color and you play, and you do all that stuff with it. But what he wants to do is make a live action short of it, and I don't know how to describe this other than to show you guys.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way.
I wonder if we're gonna get a DMCA for this music.
Maybe.
So for all you guys watching and listening, is he's throwing a Pokeball, and then he digitally imposes the Pokeball opening, and then putting a 3D Charmander in front of him.
It's almost like he cut it right out of the cartoon too.
Yeah. And he's catching a Pikachu right now. And the stars and everything pop up. There's a Blastoise that's not to scale. I just realized he's not even throwing a real Pokeball when he's throwing it. It's just imposed over his hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's bouncing.
But yeah, Pokemon live action. Yeah, That's what he wants to do. He's reached his goal though because he wanted
Right.
$1.
He wanted a whole dollar and he got it. He's already at $5.85 to make this 30-minute movie. I think that would buy him like a spiced latte while he's like superimposing these cartoon pictures over the top of
No,
the
keep in
world.
mind he's in France.
Oh yes, okay.
I
In that case,
I think that much can get him a beer in France.
there you go. That's all.
I don't know. I haven't been in Europe in a while. I just know soda and beer are about the same price. But yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of problems with this. Obviously,
Yep.
the elephant in the room is the fact that you can't probably make a Pokemon live action movie without some sort of infringement
But
on.
he says it's fair use under copyright law. You just got to say it's fair use, right?
That's all you have to do is just
As a
say it.
teacher, you know, like that's what you do, right?
That's all you have to do. No, so the reason why nobody's going to come knocking on your door and Nintendo's not going to take anything from you is it's not because it's fair use. Like, it's because you're not going to make any money.
Yeah, and
Like, it's not going anywhere.
so no offense, kid, but that was kind of really bad CG.
Right. And he'd written something about that too, about how it was like, we're going to make this nonprofit. It's going to be awesome. Original tone. What are you talking about? He just talked about how like it's going to be neat. But sweet acting, awesome Pokemon animations, and of course Pokemon battles.
Yeah, except
And then in my mind, I'm like, not pictured here.
and
Show
you,
me
you
that.
probably teach this to your students, right? If you're gonna make a feature film or any kind of film, right? You hire real actors. Don't use your friends, right?
Right. It makes a big difference if you have somebody that knows what they're doing, and hire a real like CG artist. You know, he had a goal of $1. Maybe that's what it cost to buy his friends.
Project wise, this is the problem, and I saw this on like all our sacks of the week this time. Is he has one tier level. If you pledge €100, which is $113 US, you will get a shout out on their channel. And there's
Wow.
that's the only level.
That's such a. You're right. The ones that we sack a lot, that is like they're just not thought through at all.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna drop $100 to get a shout.
And I know there's that back this project button, right? But it is entirely a psychological and visual thing that you put that $1 thing there, because when you do, people are like, "Oh, I can back this low." When you don't have it on there, they're like, "Oh, the lowest I can back is $100. I'm not going to back it for that much."
Yep. This is this one. Although I'm not even sure I'd put $1 on there for a shout out. Although he's made his goal, does that mean he has to make it now? Like he pledged.
Yeah, pretty much. But I have a feeling he's the backer for.
He's put his own $5.85 in. Of course, it was in euros, right?
So so it's €1.
Oh, yep, €1. I don't know. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I mean, I wonder if this is a joke or something, but
Hey.
set a realistic goal. This is a little too realistic. Actually, I set a realistic goal and an achievable goal. This is probably achievable, but not realistic for a budget to make something like this.
Right. I wish it would have put in there like, hey, as part of a class assignment, I'd love to make this happen. Help me like fulfill my class assignment, because that's part of the fair use, the study, the critique of.
Yes.
Right. Then it'd be like, I'm going to try and make this happen, and he could learn and better his skills, and we could support him.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be more willing to help him if he's like, hey, I'm a student in film school or whatever. Is there a CG school? I don't know.
French CG school.
Yeah. I'd be more willing to do that, but yeah, this is definitely not fair use, kid. You may want to pay attention a little bit more in class. I believe. Nice. Don't you offer an entire course on the legalities of movie making?
Yes, I have an entire communication law class that goes right into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. So that's our sack of the week, and unfortunately, that is the end of this episode. Drew, I'm so glad you're back. I don't know how much I can say that, but I do cherish and enjoy these times. And I hope
cherish is a word that blows. I don't know the song, but yeah, I could.
This is becoming this is becoming a theme in all the shows I create. I'm almost to the point where I think I need to get all of us together and we're just gonna make a musical.
Because parasocial relationships with your co-host because you only see them virtually. So yes, you got to get us together.
Because everybody apparently likes to sing, so let's make a musical somehow.
I love it. I feel like I've got mood lighting. I don't have my lights or anything in this room, and I'm behind the main light, and so I just sit here like witness protection program.
You're so
like,
dramatic right now.
It is. It's like a silhouette.
Like
here, let me lean back.
Maybe I should like get you one of those prop cigarettes so you can just be smoking it throughout the whole episode. Like,
and then I would say less. I'd just be like, yes, this is a project that.
So you want to back this project? I see.
Too funny. Well, it's been a good show. Thanks for letting me join you again. I'm back, baby.
Yep. So if you guys are glad that Drew's back, or if you have projects you want us to feature or talk about, shoot us an email, of course, kickcast@ktdata.net. Leave it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/kickcast, or tweet us at Night20 for that beautiful man. Actually, just tweet that man and say, you're awesome. Thanks for being back.
I love it. I love your tweets.
Yeah, at Ktdata for myself. If you want to hear stories about my mom and playing Pokemon Go,
entertaining.
It's a good time. We're at KickCast. Of course, our show notes at kickcast.net. And of course, for all the people live, like Laser Norm, you rock. You can find that at live.kickcast.net, or just pay attention to our social media channels because they'll be there somewhere. And if you're on Facebook, you can just keep the page open. It'll show up automatically. Our next episode is going to be, it's already October. October something. October 11th, because I can math right. 2016. And, maybe by then Drew will give us hints on what his Halloween costume will be.
I got no clothes, man. I'm not going out. I did find out that my neighborhood's having 3 Halloween parties on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I will be dropping the kids off 3 nights of the week.
So that means we can play video games on Friday, right?
Oh, great idea. I
love this idea.
I want to play some projection mapping and I do that every year. I put something on my garage door that's kind of entertaining. So
that's always cool. So
it's fun.
What you should do is just put a picture of you sitting at your desk in your office, grading papers and just putting Fs on all of them.
That's the Halloween spirit. I'm just sitting there failing people left and right. And so as the kids are like trick-or-treating and they come by and look at it, they'd be like, that's horrible. I love it. That's a great idea.
All right, guys. We will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Good night.